That's just the way the cookie crumbles. To that, I don't think they last because of that. Okay, and here's my reason why. I went through and looked at it. Again, a lot of seniors are playing in this class right now on the offensive side of things. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if I go up and pull that report, that chart up that I had of the top 200 players enrolled, they have 28 over the last 6 years. That's 11 less than Florida has. Okay, so they go 3, 7, 6, 3, 3, 6, and 6 included, which is this year right now. So, which tells me that there's nothing there. If you go look at their quarterback room after Hinder leaves this year, it's a freshman plus Nico who's coming in, who's also a freshman. They're going to have that setback, and it's going to be a massive setback. Now, I'm not trying to hate on Tennessee. This is not me roasting Tennessee or saying anything like that, but it's simply just looking at what's in place. Look, they're hitting a great stride. They're doing well, and people are comparing them to the 2019 LSU team. The only thing that I will agree with is to say that they're the same thing is because they're going to fall off just like LSU did after this year.
Yeah, who didn't become bowl eligible the next year, which I also called because they lost their entire coaching staff. But like, my gosh, like, no, they're not there. I just don't see that. I mean, look, like, to your point, yeah, Tennessee is they're at a crescendo. Whether or not they can maintain that crescendo and they can stay at the top based on what they have coming in next year, I just don't see it. Yeah, they've got a senior quarterback, a backup senior quarterback, and then 2 freshmen. So unless they get a transfer, they're done there.
And look,
Jabari Small,
Ole Miss is in the same boat, in my opinion. They haven't done well in years with their recruiting class. Look, things fall into place where teams have good years. That happens all the time. It's again, Florida had that with Trask. To me, this is where Tennessee is at right now. Ole Miss, they had Jackson Dart, who was a transfer. Now, Lane Kiffin has been very vocal about him being active in the transfer portal. And Josh Heupel could be the same for Tennessee. But as of now, I don't see this translating into a year of success. If you go back and look at Georgia's championship last year has been in the works for the last 5 years prior to this. They have been winning 10 and 11 games the last 4 or 5 years, just building a powerhouse to make them prepared to beat Alabama when it mattered most. And again,
that's true.
And that's where, look, and again, I like the comparison of Tennessee to the 2019 LSU because you caught lightning in a bottle and you went all the way and you got it done, but that was it. And 2 years later, LSU had a complete restart, a complete reset, all from 1 year because everybody leaves.
That's a great way to put it. They lost their head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
Well, they didn't lose Ed right after the year after. They didn't lose Ed the year after. They didn't.
No, it was the year after that because they realized that he couldn't maintain the 22 5-star roster. Like, after you don't have all that, you can't win. Yes, I don't think he made it through the next year. I think they fired him before the end of the
played
season.
One more year. He played the COVID year, and then he played the year following. Okay. And then he got fired the year after that. Because it was 19, then COVID, then 2021 he got fired. Which is it was crazy to me too, but it's like, again, like you said, like, oh, well, this isn't a sustainable plan of just, you got a lot of studs, everything worked out, you got lightning in a bottle where all these things kind of figured out, you got a great transfer quarterback in Joey Burrow, boom, it happened. That's where I think Tennessee is at. I think Ole Miss is there. And again, that's where kind of Billy's getting a lot of flack too. It's like, well, look what Josh did in his second year. Billy's not going to have that in his second year either, boys. I'm going to be honest. I don't see that happening just strictly off the talent that's there. We're young now. We're not getting older next. I mean, we're going to get older, but not where Tennessee has been getting older. Tennessee was 3-7 2 years ago and like 7-6 last year. So Josh doesn't come in and just, you know what I mean? Like there's more to it than just that. And I think Hendon Hooker's a really good quarterback, and it should be up for the conversation. And you have it later on, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Sorry,
we'll talk about it. The one thing I will say about Heupel is, look, he took over a UCF team that Scott Frost had built. Like, let's be honest. I mean, UCF came from Scott Frost. It hasn't worked out well at his alma mater out in Nebraska, but Josh Heupel inherited a very, very good football team, a well-recruited football team, even though they were the second and third, maybe 2 and 3 star guys, but they got these guys all from Florida. These were the guys that, like, the Florida States, the Floridas, the Miamis they passed on, and they built a team at UCF around those guys. But that just kind of gives you an idea as to how good the talent in Florida is. But that's neither here nor there. When Frost moved on, Heupel took over a talented team. He was able to win with a talented team. He went to Tennessee. There was talent on that team. What will be interesting to see is if Heupel can build a team, because there's not a lot of depth after what we see right now. And building a team is not something I've seen Heupel do just yet. I think he's done very well with other people's talent, which, hats off to you, bro. But build me something.